You don't need it in your QuickBooks. Your taxes are filed on a cash basis, or they should be. Your CRM is accrual basis. It's based on when you invoice clients. You don't need accrual basis information. You don't need invoices or any client data in your QuickBooks. It doesn't do you any good. It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
David Mulcahy asked the connecting your QuickBooks to your CRM or not to do that. I'll go ahead and answer that because I've heard Dan say it enough times. The answer is do not connect them, or at least not for the payment side of it, because it will jack everything up. Dan's team will pull all your transactions from all your different credit cards, bank accounts, and all that stuff. And then what I do is Missy sends me once a month. She'll say, hey, Rob, go ahead and send me your accrual sales. And I'll run that report and send that over to her. And then she just fixes it all. It's way less complicated that way.
Yeah. So before that, Justin Willard said, don't shut me down, Dan. And I was just thinking, like, it just made me like take a breath of relief, because like QuickBooks doesn't fuck with us. On the bookkeeping side, right? It would, like, if QuickBooks treated us the way Indeed treats us, like, I wouldn't be able to have a bookkeeping business. If QuickBooks was like, oh, sorry, you violated we got to shut you down because of this thing.
You illegally did stuff.
Yeah. And I'd be like, Rob, I can't do your books for this month because QuickBooks shut us down. We have no idea why, and they won't tell us. Like, how shitty would that be? That's like what happens to our recruiting team all the time. It's just so frustrating.
And that's the point.
We figured it out now, but like, man, we've been battling that for a couple of years. It's been nuts.
I need another beer. I'll be right back.
Go get it. David, I'll hit on a little bit more of what Rob said. So the reason why we don't connect them is kind of like threefold, maybe twofold, maybe threefold. We'll see how many reasons I come up with here. So one is it duplicates data that you already have. So the CRM already has the data. You don't need it in your QuickBooks. Your taxes are filed on a cash basis, or they should be. Your CRM is accrual basis. It's based on when you invoice clients. You don't need accrual basis information. You don't need invoices or any client data in your QuickBooks. It doesn't do you any good. It's literally just duplicating data that you already have. So reason number one is unless your CRM doesn't back up their data and you need it as like who are my clients and where do they live, that would be the only reason to dump it into QuickBooks. Otherwise, you're just duplicating data that you already have. So that's meaningless if it's already backed up. Reason number two is when you do pull it all in. So now you're blending accrual basis and cash basis, because now you're pulling invoice data in. So you're kind of creating a mess by combining two different accounting types of data, which is doable. QuickBooks can handle it, but it's unnecessary mess. The second issue that happens is your CRM will pull in the payment records, but it won't pull in deposit records, because your CRM doesn't know when you put this $10,000 into the bank account today, what were all those payments? Which invoices were those? And so in QuickBooks, your bank feed's going to pull in and say, here's the deposit of $10,000 today. It's not going to know, here's all of those clients that paid their invoice that makes up those $10,000. In your CRM, you're already checking off all $10,000 of who paid you. Half the time you're like charging their credit cards in your CRM. Oh, double up. So you're already doing this work in your CRM to say, here's my clients that paid. Now in QuickBooks, you need to go in and say, yeah, here's my, like, okay, that payment record came in, but now when the $10,000 got deposited, I need to go in and say that deposit was made up of all these different client invoice payments. And so that's like reason number two is now you're just like doing more work that you already did in one system, but QuickBooks doesn't know that what made up that $10,000 deposit. So you need to like go do more work in there to appease the QuickBooks. Otherwise, QuickBooks is going to have a bunch of useless information. QuickBooks is going to think the client's paid, but it's not going to know that the money got deposited. So what I usually see is sales get duplicated. You're going to have the sale when the invoice happens, and you're going to have the sale when the deposit happens. Both get recorded as revenue, And unless you're going in and matching and creating that deposit record and matching, you're going to end up duplicating sales and paying taxes on duplicated sales. I see that happen all the time. It's fine if you're making those deposit records.
QuickBooks never duplicates anything, man. What are you talking about?
Rob, like the first time you and I started working together, I remember, wasn't it
Dude,
like
my friggin' payroll taxes?
Yeah, they paid your payroll taxes for like 3 months that you had already paid, and it was like $3,000 we had to get back or something like that.
Happen again too, and actually, like, we got a flag on our MVA profile overall, and said you can't, you have an MVA appointment, you can't come in. You haven't paid such and such, and like the money had already left Gusto. It was on its way to the Fed, and it's like it's all digital. Like as soon as it leaves, Gusto says it's gone. It should be at the IRS or the, I guess it was Maryland's federal tax, whatever.
Yeah.
And so like we went ahead and were like, screw it. I need these trucks registered. I don't want to mess with anything else. I don't got time for this nonsense. So we went ahead and just like sent the extra $1,500 or $2,000. And then it's like, you have a $2,000 credit.
Yeah, and you're like, but why?
I like the money back.
I already paid. So reason number 2 is like it creates more work in QuickBooks that doesn't add any value. It's not bad for like triple checking stuff to make sure like, okay, this deposit was made up of all these payments from all these customers, but somebody has to do that in QuickBooks. And if somebody's not doing that in QuickBooks, you end up with a bunch of undeposited funds and duplicated sales on like undeposited funds on your balance sheet. Like literally like money in your pillowcase is what I assume that to be, money under your mattress, like undeposited as in the money came in, but no deposit record was created to tell QuickBooks that this money, and then the money gets deposited here, but it doesn't get matched up. So it creates a bunch of nonsense in QuickBooks. And then the third reason is you're doing all of that work. It's not adding any value. The fastest way to get the same information is just like Rob said, like he sends our bookkeeper the accrual sales from the CRM, like what was the total amount invoiced. And when we run the report, we can just type that in. That takes 3 minutes. I don't know, Rob, how long does it take you to send us that number each month? 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes?
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah, it takes Misty about 30 seconds.
To finally get on the computer and to be able to do it.
Yeah, you gotta like have to log in. So that's the longest. That's what takes the most amount of time is logging in.
I have to remember that I'm supposed to do that.
Yep. Misty will bug you for it. But so like we can get that number in less than 5 minutes versus if you import the data and you got to do all the matching. And then like, I guess reason number 4 would be, God forbid, like the CRM in QuickBooks aren't always going to talk. It's software, right? Shit's going to get messed up at some point in time. And then trying to deal with that. And again, all unnecessary stuff because we already have the data we need in both places. QuickBooks just needs bank accounts, credit cards, like actual cash basis transactions. It doesn't need invoices and client data. The CRM already has that. So we can just get that number out of there, type it into the report, and we have both right next to each other. And it takes 5 minutes instead of 5 hours or whatever it takes to depending on how many clients you have to manage the data in 2 places. So that is the reason why.